I do have one gripe after going and seeing Kendrick Lamar and SZA on the Grand National Tour, a tour that I very much enjoyed, but I do gotta say this. I do wish Kendrick was a little more personable with the audience. You know, this is the highest grossing hip hop tour of all time. These are stadiums. We're talking about 40, 50,000 people coming out, and they're spending a lot of money per ticket to see these two live. SZA actually does a good job of being pretty personable during her show. R&B songs just allow for more personal energy. But Kendrick, I mean, it literally just feels like business as usual with him. I perform, off to the next city. To be fair to Kendrick, he's doing a lot of these records in uncharted territory with no background tracks. I'm sure his mind is just focused on making sure I remember these songs for these customers that paid a lot of money. But I do feel like, I don't know how, he's got to find a way to connect with the paying customer at these tours a little more. I need to know he's a real person, right? Not an AI robot that just raps. You know, I love Good Kid, Mad City, but I wouldn't necessarily consider myself a Kendrick Lamar super fan until the last calendar year. I don't know a lot about Kendrick. I'm not from the West Coast. I don't got ties out to California. I didn't grow up listening to a lot of Kendrick. I would just say, leaving his tour, I don't feel like I learned one new thing about Kendrick Lamar. And I think that is a problem. It's one thing for artists to want to keep it in the music and not be on social media, making posts, commenting, all that. But I do feel like at that tour, that's when you're supposed to have that direct relationship with your biggest fans. You know, Kendrick was really hard on Drake in the midst of their feud. You run to Atlanta, you go connect with this community, that community, because you really don't have a community of your own. And I understand those points. A lot of that stuff felt valid, right? Outside looking in. But Kendrick didn't acknowledge the good part of Drake's brand. If you've ever been to a Drake show, I've been to 3. Drake does a phenomenal job of connecting with the paying customer. And obviously Drake's a very rich man. He makes you feel like your dollar is valued, like he's broke, like he's on the come up just like he was 15, 20 years ago. When you go to a Drake show, he's very personable. He moves around that stage. The way he sets his stages up, he gets to kind of connect with every audience, even at the top. Like, Drake does a great job, him and his team, of producing his shows and making fans feel connected. He walks through the crowd. So yes, Kendrick called out Drake for attaching themselves to different communities, but Drake does a great job at that when it's working well, right? Like, he does a great job of making you feel like you've known this dude your whole life. He's from wherever you're from. And I just don't feel like Kendrick did as great a job as Drake always does. He's a consummate professional when it comes to that stage and performing. I don't think Kendrick thinks about other aspects of the show, because I think this dude's mind is focused on being the best rapper we've ever seen. Does Kendrick believe he has more hits than other artists, pop stars? No, but he's getting up there, by the way. I think he thinks I'm really, really good at making hits whenever I want to do that. Does Kendrick believe he's the best person at putting words together in rap format? He probably thinks he's up there on the high end. Probably some battle rappers out there that may got Kendrick's number, but he's like, okay, I'm really, really good at that as well. Does Kendrick think he's the best performer live? He probably thinks I'm really, really on the high end of that. Maybe not the best, but really, really up there at the high end. Kendrick Lamar knows he's about one of the greatest at this 25%, one of the greatest at that 25%, one of the greatest at that 25%, one of the greatest at that 25%. And when you put it all together in totality, I believe this man, when you go to his tour, wants you to believe that he believes he is the best rapper ever, because he's really good at like 92 different things that culminates in being the greatest rapper of all time. That's where his mind is focused on. I want to thank y'all so much for the time, love, and support. If you had a chance to go see the Grand National Tour, let me know your thoughts. Thoroughly enjoyed myself at this tour. I do not want that to get mistaken. I already did a video highlighting a lot of the positives of the tour. A lot of people complaining about Kendrick performing, then SZA performing, then Kendrick comes out, then SZA comes out. SZA has a big fan base, so she's not one of the acts that only brings out 5% of the audience, 10%. I would say when I went and seen Kendrick and SZA in Atlanta, I would say 40% of that audience was there for SZA. She's a big deal. She's probably damn near as big a deal as you could be as an opener for somebody, right? Like, she's going to be headlining her own stadium tours in the next 3 years, most likely, the way her career is heading, right? She won't be available to be an opener for Kendrick. Hell, Kendrick might be underneath her. That's how big of a deal I think of SZA, right? SZA makes women come out for her, and when it's not her performance, sometimes they sit down. There's a lot of guys that don't want to hear SZA, right? Like it's that thing that it bothers a lot of people. It didn't bother me at all. I love the show from start to finish. It was a very long show, but guess what? I paid a lot of long dollars to get to that tour, so I loved it. They could have went on for 10 hours. I would have still been standing, bopping and weaving. I love the tour. I think Kendrick and SZA did a phenomenal job of making me feel like they cared about the art of performing, right? Just other things I would have liked some adjustments to. Let me know your thoughts. Time, love, and support with your boy. Never take for granted. Salute. I'm out. It's FERRO's favorite time of the year, ladies and gentlemen. The NBA playoffs are intense, and my sponsor partners over at Underdog want to make that intensity worth your while. Underdog has released a new game that I am really feeling called Ladders, and I'll break it down to you. It's simple. You can win up to 100 times your money by selecting 3 to 5 players who you think will go off throughout a series. As a player hits a higher rung, your payout will jump up. It's simple as that. And when you sign up, all you got to do is use your boy promo code FERRO, F-E-R-R-O. You know I'm going to throw you a few dollars extra on your first deposit. Try Ladders out right now, only available on Underdog. Enjoy the Western Conference, Eastern Conference, and NBA Finals.